Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to explore an important aspect of animal biology, nutrition in animals. This is the first slide, and it sets the stage for our journey into understanding how animals obtain and utilize nutrients. We'll cover key concepts about animal diets, digestion, and the role of different nutrients. I'm excited to take you through this fascinating topic, so let's get started. Let's take a look at the contents of today's chapter. We'll start with animal nutrition, focusing on specific organs like the liver and pancreas, which play crucial roles in digestion. Then, we'll review the main parts of the alimentary canal, the tube through which food travels and is processed. Next, we'll explore how digestion works specifically in grass-eating animals, or ruminants, which have a specialized digestive system. Moving on, we'll examine the small intestine, a vital site for nutrient absorption, and then compare it to the large intestine, which handles water absorption and waste formation. We'll also touch on how amoebas feed and digest food, highlighting differences and similarities with more complex animals. The role of the mouth and buccal cavity in initial food intake will be covered, emphasizing how digestion begins right at the start. Finally, we'll look at how digested nutrients are absorbed into the body and wrap up with a summary of these key processes. All these parts connect to give us a complete picture of how animals process their food efficiently, supporting their overall health and energy needs. Let's start by understanding what animal nutrition actually is. It refers to the way animals take in food and how that food is used within their bodies. Essentially, it's about how animals obtain and utilize nutrients to stay healthy and perform their functions. Now, animals don't produce their own food like plants do, so they must get their food either directly from plants, like grazing herbivores, or indirectly, through the food chain. Animal nutrition covers several key aspects. First, it involves understanding the nutrient requirements, what nutrients animals need to stay healthy. Second, it includes the modes of taking in food, how animals eat, whether through grazing, hunting, or scavenging. And finally, it looks at how these nutrients are utilized inside the body, supporting growth, energy, and overall health. Connecting this to our overall theme, understanding animal nutrition helps us better appreciate how animals survive and thrive, and it also plays a crucial role in managing livestock and wildlife conservation. So, as we move forward, keep in mind that nutrition is the foundation for all these processes. Now let's take a closer look at the different ways animals take in their food. As you can see in the table, some animals, like snails, chew their food, such as grass, to break it down before swallowing. Others, like ants, scrape insects or other food sources to consume them. Then we have animals like eagles, which swallow flesh whole, often without much chewing. Hummingbirds are fascinating because they suck nectar through their beaks, which is a quick and efficient way to feed on flowers. Lice and mosquitoes also suck blood, which is a different method of feeding that involves piercing the skin. Butterflies, on the other hand, siphon or suck nectar from flowers, which is a refined form of feeding. The housefly feeds on decaying matter by brewing, which involves a different process altogether. These different methods, chewing, sucking, siphoning, scraping, and brewing, highlight the diversity in how animals process food. Now, when we talk about digestion, it's the process where complex food substances are broken down into simpler forms that the body can absorb and use. This is a crucial part of nutrition and overall health. So, to summarize, these various feeding modes, chewing, sucking, siphoning, scraping, and brewing, are all adapted to the specific diets of these animals, enabling them to efficiently obtain and process their food. This diversity is key to understanding how different animals survive in their unique environments. Let's take a closer look at digestion and the nutrients involved. First up, carbohydrates. When we eat carbs, our body breaks them down into glucose, which is the primary energy source for our cells. Glucose is essential because it fuels everything we do, from thinking to physical activity. Next, fats. During digestion, fats are broken down into fatty acids. These fatty acids are important for energy storage, insulation, and supporting cell structures. They also help us absorb fat-soluble vitamins, which are crucial for overall health. Finally, proteins. When we consume protein-rich foods, our body digests them into amino acids. These amino acids are the building blocks for our muscles, enzymes, and other vital tissues. Connecting all of this to our overall theme, understanding how nutrients are broken down into simpler substances helps us appreciate how our bodies efficiently utilize what we eat to maintain health and energy. Now, let's take a closer look at the digestion system in humans. It involves several key processes that work together to ensure our bodies get the nutrients they need. First up is ingestion, which is simply the process of taking food into the body. This is the very first step where we actually put food into our mouths. Next, we have digestion, which is the breaking down of food into simpler substances that our bodies can absorb and use. Think of it as turning a big, complex meal into smaller, manageable pieces. After digestion, the absorbed nutrients are transported to our cells, which is essential for energy, growth, and repair. Once the nutrients reach the cells, assimilation occurs. That's where our bodies utilize and incorporate these nutrients into our tissues and functions. On the flip side, we also need to remove waste products, which is the process of egestion, or the elimination of undigested food and waste as feces. A crucial part of digestion is absorption, specifically through tiny structures called villi in our small intestine. These villi maximize the surface area to efficiently absorb the digested nutrients into our bloodstream. So, in summary, digestion involves several interconnected steps: ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion, all working seamlessly to keep us healthy and energized. Now, let's take a closer look at the main parts of the alimentary canal. Starting at the beginning, we have the buccal cavity, which is essentially the mouth. This is where the process of digestion begins, with chewing and the mixing of food with saliva. Moving down the canal, we encounter the esophagus, also known as the food pipe. Its main role is to transport food from the mouth to the stomach through a series of muscular contractions called peristalsis. Next, we reach the stomach, a vital organ where the food is broken down further by acids and enzymes. This prepares the food for nutrient absorption later in the process. After the stomach, the food moves into the small intestine, which is the longest part of the canal. Here, most of the digestion and nutrient absorption occurs, making it essential for our overall health. Following the small intestine, the remaining waste moves into the large intestine. This section is responsible for absorbing water and forming solid waste. The rectum then stores this waste until it's ready to be expelled. Finally, the waste exits the body through the anus, completing the process of digestion and excretion. Understanding these main parts helps us appreciate how the body efficiently processes food from start to finish, supporting our overall health and well-being. Now, let's talk about the mouth and the buccal cavity. When we eat, the first step happens right here, as food enters the mouth. The teeth play a crucial role by breaking down the food into smaller, more manageable pieces, which makes digestion easier later on. Inside the mouth, we also have salivary glands that secrete saliva. This saliva isn't just for moistening the food. It contains enzymes that start breaking down starches into sugars right away. The tongue is a versatile muscle that helps mix the food with saliva, making it easier to swallow. It also helps push the food toward the throat when we're ready to swallow. So, the mouth isn't just a simple entry point. It's an active, complex part of the digestive process that prepares food for the next stages. This step is really vital because proper initial digestion in the mouth sets the stage for the rest of the process, connecting to our overall goal of understanding how our body processes food efficiently. Let's take a closer look at the different types of teeth and their functions. As you can see in the table, humans typically have a total of 32 teeth, divided between the upper and lower jaws. Starting with incisors, there are 4 in each jaw, totaling 8. These are the front teeth, and their main role is biting and cutting food. They are sharp and designed for grasping and slicing. Next, we have the canines, with 2 in each jaw, making 4 in total. Canines are pointed teeth that help us pierce and tear food apart, which is especially useful for eating meat or tougher foods. Then there are the premolars and molars. Each jaw has 6 premolars and 4 molars, totaling 12 premolars and 8 molars. These teeth are broader and flatter, and their main job is chewing and grinding food to make swallowing easier and digestion more efficient. Overall, these different types of teeth work together seamlessly to enable us to eat a wide variety of foods efficiently. They play a crucial role in our digestion and overall health, highlighting the importance of dental care in maintaining their function. Let's take a closer look at the esophagus. It's essentially a long canal, often called the food pipe, that plays a crucial role in transporting food from your mouth down to your stomach. Think of it as a flexible tube that ensures food moves smoothly along the digestive pathway. Now, a key process that makes this happen is called peristalsis. This involves a series of wave-like muscle contractions along the walls of the esophagus. These waves push the food downward, ensuring it reaches the stomach efficiently. Peristalsis is fascinating because it's not just about moving food. It's a coordinated, rhythmic process that keeps the entire digestive system functioning properly. Connecting this to our overall theme, understanding how the esophagus and peristalsis work together helps us appreciate the complex, yet seamless, process of digestion that occurs every day without us even noticing. Now let's take a closer look at the stomach. The stomach receives food from the esophagus, acting as a vital place where digestion really kicks into gear. It secretes several important substances, including digestive juices, hydrochloric acid, and mucus. These play crucial roles in breaking down our food and protecting the stomach itself. One key ingredient is pepsin, a digestive enzyme that specifically targets proteins, breaking them down into smaller, more manageable pieces. This process is essential because proteins are complex molecules that require specialized enzymes to digest effectively. Next, we have hydrochloric acid, which creates an acidic environment inside the stomach. This acidity is important for 2 reasons. It activates enzymes like pepsin and also helps kill bacteria that may have entered along with our food, keeping us safe from potential infections. Finally, mucus forms a protective layer lining the stomach walls. This barrier is critical because it shields the stomach tissue from the harsh acid, preventing damage or ulcers. Together, these components, pepsin, hydrochloric acid, and mucus, work harmoniously to ensure our food is efficiently broken down while safeguarding the stomach itself. This process is a perfect example of how our body's systems work together seamlessly to support overall digestion and health. Now, let's talk about the liver and pancreas, 2 vital organs involved in digestion. The liver produces a substance called bile juice, which plays a crucial role in breaking down fats. This bile is stored in the gallbladder until it's needed during digestion. When fats enter the small intestine, the bile is released to help emulsify and digest those fats efficiently. The pancreas, on the other hand, secretes pancreatic juice that contains enzymes essential for digesting proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. It's like a chemical factory that produces the tools our body needs to break down different nutrients into usable forms. An interesting point to note is that the liver and pancreas share a common duct, which means their secretions often travel together towards the small intestine. This close connection highlights how interconnected these organs are in ensuring smooth and efficient digestion. Overall, understanding how the liver and pancreas work together helps us appreciate the complexity and coordination involved in turning the food we eat into energy and nutrients our bodies can utilize. The small intestine is quite remarkable. It's a long, coiled tube that stretches about 9 meters in adults. Its primary role is to continue the digestion process after the stomach has done its part. It receives secretions from the liver and pancreas, which contain enzymes and other substances crucial for breaking down food. The small intestine also secretes its own digestive juices, which are essential for completing the digestion of nutrients. For example, the pancreatic juice contains enzymes that specifically target carbohydrates and proteins, breaking them down into simpler forms. Meanwhile, the intestinal juice works further to digest starch into glucose, fats into fatty acids and glycerol, and proteins into amino acids. This step-by-step breakdown is vital because it allows our bodies to absorb nutrients efficiently. Connecting this to the overall theme, the small intestine acts as the final processing center, ensuring that all nutrients are broken down into forms our body can use for energy, growth, and repair. Its coordinated function with the liver and pancreas highlights how beautifully our digestive system is designed to work together seamlessly. Now, let's talk about how the digested food actually gets into our body and is used effectively. This process is called absorption, and it takes place in the walls of the small intestine. You can think of the small intestine as a busy hub where nutrients are taken in. The inner lining of the small intestine has these tiny finger-like projections called villi. These villi are really important because they increase the surface area, making it easier for nutrients to be absorbed. Each villus is rich in blood vessels, which helps in transferring the absorbed nutrients into the bloodstream. Once in the blood, these nutrients are carried to different parts of the body, like muscles, organs, and tissues, where they are used for energy, growth, and repair. This entire process of taking in nutrients and using them by the body is known as assimilation. After the nutrients are absorbed, the leftover undigested food moves into the large intestine. This step is essential for preparing waste for elimination. So, in summary, absorption is a vital step that ensures our body gets the nourishment it needs from the food we eat, connecting digestion to the overall functioning and health of our body. Now, let's take a closer look at the large intestine. It's actually wider and shorter than the small intestine, measuring about 1.5 meters in length. Its main role is to absorb water and some salts from the undigested food material that passes through. As the food moves along, most of the nutrients have already been absorbed earlier, so now the large intestine focuses on reclaiming water to help maintain fluid balance in our bodies. The remaining waste, which is now semi-solid, is stored in the rectum as feces. When it's time to get rid of this waste, it passes out through the anus, and we call this process egestion. So, in essence, the large intestine plays a crucial role in water absorption and waste elimination, which are vital parts of maintaining our overall health and digestion. Now, let's take a closer look at how digestion works in grass-eating animals, specifically ruminants. These animals, like cows and sheep, have a unique way of handling their food. They actually swallow the grass quickly and store it in a special part of their stomach called the rumen. This allows them to eat a lot at once without having to chew thoroughly right away. The rumen acts like a fermentation chamber, where microbes break down the tough plant material. This process is key because it helps these animals extract nutrients from grass that might be difficult to digest otherwise. Understanding this process highlights how ruminants are specially adapted to their herbivorous diet, which ties back to the overall theme of how different animals have evolved unique digestion systems to survive and thrive on their particular diets. Let's look at some examples of how ruminants process their food. When a cow or sheep, for instance, eats grass, they quickly swallow it and store it in a special part of their stomach called the rumen. This allows them to eat a large amount of grass rapidly. The partially digested food, known as cud, then forms. Later, the animal brings the cud back up into its mouth in small lumps to chew it again, a process called rumination. This extra chewing helps break down the plant fibers, making digestion more efficient. After this, the chewed food passes into a sac-like structure called the cecum, which is located between the small and large intestines. An important point here is that cellulose in the grass, which is tough to digest, is broken down with the help of bacteria in the cecum. This bacterial action is crucial because it allows ruminants to extract nutrients from fibrous plant material that other animals might not be able to digest effectively. All of these processes, swallowing quickly, cud chewing, and bacterial digestion, are key adaptations that enable ruminants to thrive on a diet mainly composed of tough grasses and leaves. Let's talk about feeding and digestion in amoeba. Amoeba is a fascinating single-celled organism that you can find in pond water. Its structure includes a cell membrane, cytoplasm, and a nucleus, all working together to keep it alive. Inside the cytoplasm, you'll notice many bubble-like vacuoles, which play a key role in digestion. One of the most interesting features of amoeba is its finger-like projections called pseudopodia, or false feet. These projections help the amoeba move around and also assist in capturing food. When the amoeba detects a food particle nearby, it extends its pseudopodia around the food, effectively trapping it. Once the food is enclosed, it's stored in a food vacuole. Inside this vacuole, digestive enzymes break down the food, allowing the amoeba to absorb the nutrients. Any undigested waste is then expelled from the vacuole, completing the feeding process. This whole mechanism highlights how simple organisms like amoeba efficiently perform digestion, which is essential for their survival. It also connects to our overall theme of understanding how living beings, even at a microscopic level, have specialized methods to meet their needs. In summary, animal nutrition is a comprehensive process that involves understanding nutrient requirements, how animals intake their food, and how their bodies utilize these nutrients. The human digestive system is quite intricate, comprising the alimentary canal and secretory glands that work together to break down and absorb food. It includes several key parts: the buccal cavity where food enters, the esophagus which transports it, the stomach where initial digestion occurs, the small intestine, the main site for nutrient absorption, the large intestine, responsible for water absorption and waste formation, and finally the rectum and anus for egestion. The main digestive glands that secrete enzymes and juices aiding digestion are the salivary glands, the liver, and the pancreas. Interestingly, the walls of the stomach and small intestine also produce digestive juices to help break down food further. It's important to note that feeding modes vary widely among different organisms, reflecting their diverse adaptations. At its core, nutrition is a complex process that involves several stages: ingestion, where we take in food; digestion, breaking food down into smaller molecules; absorption, where nutrients enter the bloodstream; assimilation, the utilization of these nutrients by cells; and egestion, the removal of indigestible parts. Understanding these processes helps us appreciate how vital proper nutrition and digestive health are for overall well-being. Thank you.